All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Fighting Carrier. My name is Deshaun, Branch 5 carrier here in the Nebraska area. I wanted to start off with something a little bit light today. I had to file a grievance against my supervisor here for an incident that happened about a week or so ago, to where the manager, supervisor, whatever, she's constantly harassing all the carriers. It's just nonsensical things. So finally, I just had enough. And you know what's interesting? Since I transferred to this office, I filed more grievances against this supervisor than I have in my career as a carrier. And I started back in 2012 because I'm one of those forgotten TEs, of course. That's who I am. But I think since 2012 to now, before I came to this office, I only filed maybe one grievance. But anyway, I filed a grievance against her for harassment. I also, even before the grievance, I did send a message I talked to the Inspector General. I reported her for harassment. And it's a shame that, that as carriers, we have to do this. We have to file grievances just so we can be treated properly. It makes absolutely no sense that we have to go through this. But I filed a grievance against her, and hopefully the things that they're going to take place now is, one, she's never going to compare me and my route to another carrier and their route. You know, I get the longest route, city route in my station, and I transferred into it back in April. And so now it's fall time. I'm asking for a route adjustment, because my route is way too long. Every Monday, just on my route alone, I'm looking at 5:45, 6 o'clock every Monday. That's just how bad it is. Everyone else can get their routes done. Well, if it's not political day, they can get their routes done around 4:30 or 4:45 at the most. Not me. I'm about 2 hours over every Monday. So it's rough right there. But anyway, I had to file that grievance against my supervisor. The harassing about the time, the harassing to get off the clock within 5 minutes, and during PM duty times, wash up time, even though the JCAM says a reasonable amount of time. So depending on the volume that you have, I can get done in 2 minutes, I can get done in 8 minutes. It just depends on the day of the week, depends on what's going on with the mail. And especially now with the political stuff, where you have to mark up all the political flyers. My goodness, I had 6 trays. Full trays of DPS today, mixture of political mail and bills today for my area. So, yeah, it was just a nightmare today. In addition to that, the 130 plus packages to scan and whatnot, and 4 certifies and 1 signature confirmation package. So it was just a rough day today, but it's all good. We got a job, smile on our face. Life is good. So the title of this week's, or at least today's session, is "We Are Not Intimidated." What do I mean by that? I sent the message out on my Facebook page, The Fighting Carrier, as well as on the Clean Sweep page, both found on Facebook. And I wrote, "We're not intimidated." And what do I mean by that? Well, it's a few things I want to talk about, as I got my show notes here for today. Reason why I said we're not intimidated, just breaks down to a couple of things here. Number one, I want to talk to you, old heads, carriers, and when I say old heads, that's no disrespect. It's actually a term of endearment. That's on that this the black community, we have that. We call our seasoned people old heads, people in the hood. That's been around the block. We call them old heads, or our uncles, what I'm saying, call them old heads. So it's a term of endearment, so take no offense to that, to our more seasoned carriers who's been around here. But to our old heads, all right, check this out. Us newer generation of people, carriers, I'm only 44, so I'm quite, I'm Gen X right there in the middle. But as new carriers, forgotten TEs, CCAs, the new kids on the block, we are not afraid of arbitration. You can no longer scare us how you've done in the past. I've seen on NALC Facebook page how you old heads, the Anthony Smiths of the world, get on there and talk about how, if you go to arbitration, you might lose your COLAs, you might lose this, you might get a worse deal. None of those scare tactics work anymore. They no longer work on us anymore. So, looks like I'm having some technical issues. I think maybe because the rain is going on around here. So I'm sorry if the stream is not the greatest right now. But if you can hear me, just let me know. But looks like we're having a little bit of technical issues today due to the weather. And so I apologize for that offhand. But anyway, you old heads can no longer scare us with those tactics. They're not working on us anymore. We're not afraid of arbitration. You're talking about we may lose the COLAs. Well, we already get COLAs anyway. I'm a Table 2 carrier, and I haven't had a full COLA since I've been on Table 2. My Table 1 carriers was always getting the full COLA, so that's no big deal to me. Even now, we're still getting a percentage of COLAs. We're not getting the full COLA. And the only people that get the full COLA with the new agreement will be Table P carriers, Step P. So, I mean, what are we losing? We don't have it anyway. So you're not scaring us with those tactics. You're not scaring us. We're not intimidated when you say, the arbitrator may give us a worse deal. Because, see, you're failing to realize that the arbitrator, they have to consider the federal law regarding pay comparability. They have to follow that. And that's a given. They have to follow that law. They have to consider that in arbitration. The arbitrator has to do that, and we know what the pay comparability states. It states that our salaries need to be comparable to those of the private sector. And in fact, when you read that law, it says that we should actually make more, really, than those in the private sector. And nowhere in that comparability law does it state that this is contingent upon the post office making money or not. Making money or not, it's not up to them. The law says they have to find a way to pay us what we owe, and what they owe. So they need to pay us what they owe us. So the arbitrator has to consider that. We know Renfroe. He is the advocate for the management. He advocates for them. He does not advocate for us at all. He's on the side of management. We see that, and he needs to step down. He needs to resign. So again, old heads, we are not afraid of arbitration. We're not afraid to go there. Many of us are voting no, and I would rather go down fighting in arbitration by voting no on this contract and losing arbitration than voting yes and selling myself short on this agreement. Why would I sell myself short on this agreement? Why would I accept 1.3%? Why would I accept what we're getting right now when it doesn't even take into consideration inflation? Now we need a minimum 8%, and even then, that's just covering the bare what's the word I'm looking for? The bare minimum. So, why would I sell myself short on the 1.3%? We are worth more than 1.3%, and so I'd rather go down and fighting an arbitration than saying yes, I support this bill. No, this agreement. No, this agreement is trash. All carriers should reject it. It should be a hard no on this. And I couldn't look myself in the mirror if I were to agree with this contract. Because I know I'm worth way more than 1.3%. All of us are worth more than 1.3%. It makes absolutely no sense for Renfroe, who's earning six figures himself, to sit here and say, well, we're only worth 1.3%. He is just I don't ever want to see him because don't let me see you be in the same room with him, because it won't be pretty. Because I will not have any respect for him at all. There is none. Now, another thing too, old heads, again, it's a term of endearment. This new generation, we're not afraid to strike. Now think about this. Yes, I know it's against the law to do it, federal law. But put it this way, NALC and USPS they're already violating the law, federal law anyway, when it comes to pay comparability. So why is it okay for them to violate the law, but not okay for us to violate the law? I'm saying if they're violating the law, why don't we violate the law as well? We're not afraid to strike. There are over 200,000 carriers. What are they going to do? Fire us all? There's no way they can do that. This nation, the mail service delivery would come to a standstill. It'd be just frozen in time. They could not replace us all. They could not fire us all. From the small 2 carrier stations out there to the large facilities. It's just way too many of us to replace. They can't replace us with migrants. They couldn't do it. All it would take is just a 1 day, just one day strike, 1 day call off, everyone calling in sick, whatever. And I would recommend those people who don't have any discipline on records, put it that way. If you're not currently under a letter of warning or 7 day or 14 day, I say don't do it. But everyone else, there's no reason why. We're not afraid to do that. And I know you old heads are out there. We can't strike against federal law. Blah 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 blah. Well, check it out. Everyone else is USPS and whatnot. They're violating the law. So, if they can do it, we should be able to do it until they uphold the law, federal law, to give us what we are owed as carriers. But none of us are afraid to do that at this point in time. Just a 1 day. 1 day, it'd be awesome. Come in after Memorial Day, or not Memorial Day, Veterans Day. Everybody call in, take a 4 day or 5 day, whatever you got going on, until something comes out. Speaking of Veterans Day, the 11th, I got information. According to the Houston rap session, the ballots for this garbage of an agreement is supposed to come out the week of the 11th. So sometime during that week or after, we should get those ballots. So as soon as you get those babies, just automatic no. I'm a hard no with that. And I'm good. It's good that I see so many on social media here with their uniforms on saying no. We're a no vote. We're not doing it. We don't care what they say, and that's good. That's that fighting. That's that fighting carrier spirit. We have it. Everyone is fired up. I'm very excited to see that, how so many people are fired up. But I've also seen too on social media some scare tactics, some intimidation tactics by management or labor. I've heard some are saying that management is coming at them or labor is calling them, talking about their social media presence. They haven't called me yet. If they do, they can just pound sand. I don't care. It is what it is. They can pound sand. I'm not worried about them because I have a right to be on social media. I have a right to voice my opinion about things. I have a right to voice facts about that. But I've heard that they're saying, management saying, carriers can't picket with uniforms on or be on postal property. Tell them to pound sand. Because even if you're in your uniform, guess what? You're not violating any Hatch Act or anything. You're not doing anything in violation. I don't believe so. Don't quote me. But yeah, you're not violating any Hatch Act. I mean, if you gotta have a uniform, have it on. Let people know this is who you represent. This is what's going on. The public needs to know. Since we can't legally strike, we can legally protest. Now that's our First Amendment right to air our grievances, whether it's publicly to congressional leaders or whatever. We have a right to voice our concerns as long as we do it peacefully. And with regard to postal property, tell them to pound sand, because if you can have a person, though, you've seen those videos of those auditors. They would come to like a sheriff's office or whatever, police department, and they'd be in the parking lot or the sidewalk and taking pictures of stuff or things like that. Hey, the postal property is government property. That's not private. That's public. Okay? That's public property. So, the public property, they can't tell you to move anywhere as long as you're not obstructing anything. You can tell them to pound sand because it is public property. If auditors can come in and take pictures of us while we're loading trucks up, they can take pictures of us from the sidewalk in front of the facility. They can come in. Nothing wrong with that because it's public. If you're on the sidewalk, it's public property. So you can do it in front of the post office. You can tell them, hey, you can kick rocks because it is a public property. Do not let these people in labor or management try to intimidate you, try to scare you, or do anything with social media. In fact, I want to share something with you. This is from the National Labor Relations Board about social media. And I just want to read this to you. Again, National Labor Relations Board, social media. It says, whether or not you are represented by a union, federal law gives you the right to join together with co-workers to improve your lives at work, including joining together in cyberspace, it is on Facebook. Federal law protects your right to engage in not only union activity, but also protected concerted activity. You have the right to address work-related issues and share information about pay, benefits, and working conditions with co-workers and with the union. You have the right to take action with one or more co-workers to improve your working conditions by, among other means, raising work-related complaints directly with your employer or with the government agency, or seeking help to form a union. Using social media can be a form of protected concerted activity. You have the right to address work-related issues and share information about pay, benefits, and working conditions with coworkers on Facebook, YouTube, and other social media. But just individually griping about some aspect of work is not concerted activity. What you say must have some relation to group action, or seek to initiate, induce, or prepare for group action, or bring a group complaint to the attention of management. Such activity is not protected if you say things about your employer that are egregiously offensive, or knowingly and deliberately false, or if you publicly disparage your employer's products or services without relating your complaints to any labor controversy. So, in other words, we don't want to lie about anything, but we are a group together. We're the fighting carriers. We're together. We have the right to do this. I will post this link and this information up on my pages as well on Facebook to go ahead and handle this. But yeah, tell management, labor, they can go kick rocks. They can pound sand and whatnot. So there you go with that. Again, we're not intimidated. We are not afraid. We just disagree with this agreement. We understand that Renfroe he advocates for management, not for us. And there are some out there who are not afraid to leave the union because of this. Now, I'm not going to tell you whether to stay or to leave. No, you can do what you want to do. You can do what you feel is best. However, there are those in the union that say, no, you shouldn't leave the union. You need to stick around. However, whether you're in the union or not, they still have to represent you. But here's the point. Regardless of what people are saying to stay with the union or to leave, remember this, all you who saying to stay with it, the NALC left us, okay? Renfroe and Company, the NBAs, they left us, okay? They left us to be spied on, covert operations, okay? They left us to die on the street on these hot days. And they allowed management to continue to lie about our heat training. NALC left us when Brian advocated for management and not for us. When Brian keeps saying that the post office is out of money, they're bankrupt, they're broke. It doesn't matter if they're broke. It's not up to us whether they're broke or not. They need to pay us. If they have to cut costs, if they have to raise prices up for shipping or whatever, that's on USPS management, not NALC. Brian and the union left us. Okay. So if you're a person that wants to leave, that's your choice. I'm not gonna say one way or the other. I'm not gonna say stay or go. It's your choice. You have to do what you feel is right. Yeah, you gotta take care of your family. Do what you gotta do. What you feel is right. I'm not gonna advocate one way or the other. One way or another, changes gotta make. Gotta take places. We gotta make a statement one way or the other. So I'm not gonna tell you what to do. But for all you people out there, again, this is a stream about not being afraid, not being intimidated. So you can't convince others if they want to leave. That's their choice, and I'm not going to convince them otherwise. All that I will convince people to do is, if you do decide to leave, don't leave until after you get your ballot. If you do decide to leave, and mark the baby no, make it a no. Or what you can do, mark it no, and if the agreement still passes, then if you want to leave, do what you gotta do. Do what you feel is right. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about here, I mentioned on Clean Sleep one day about amending the Constitution, the NALC Constitution, about term limits. I mean, some of these guys, NBAs, the presidents or whatever, David Noble, good guy, I like him, said something, it won't do any good to do that. We just have to we had to pick our presidents more carefully. And he brought up something that was good, I think, to amend the Constitution to where we can have live Zoom debates, the presidential candidates. Because how many people knew about Renfroe in the beginning? Not many. I mean, I knew Renfroe because I knew he was a Rolando flunky, so I already was against him anyway because I got issues with Rolando. So I was already a no anyway. But I didn't know anything about Renfroe. But I just knew he was a flunky of Rolando, so I was just a no. But having live debates with these candidates, I think it'd be good with that, and I think term limits would be good as well for all these elected officials. Perhaps only serving 2 consecutive terms, total of 8 years or whatever, and then after that, you gotta go back to carrying, or they have to serve one year term, and then go back to carrying, 1 term, and then go back to carrying, 1 term at a time, whatever, something, at most 2 consecutive terms, or 2 terms in general, and that's it. It shouldn't be the same people over and over again, buddies and friends and family and all these things. But live debates, that's something that we should try to get into the constitutional amendment, so we can have live debates between candidates, so we get to know people, so we can know what they've done in the past and the arbitrations they've gone through, and what have they done specifically for the Postal Blue family. So whatever they've done specifically for the Postal Blue family. So that's something to think about. Be fighting for that some more. But yeah, so I'm about to sign off right now. I think hopefully the stream was fine. I know there's some technical issues, so I do apologize for that ahead of time. I do hate that. It was messed up. But I'm about to go ahead and watch a little bit of football now. Monday Night Football. Looks like the stream is excellent again. So yeah, so I do apologize for any hiccups earlier. But we're going to sign off this evening, and y'all take care. And until the next time, take care. Bye.